Well, in Hofstra's loss to JMU on Sunday, junior Alyssa Perella for the Pride scored 2 goals, had 1 assist, upping her total of points this year to 79, which is approaching record territory. Megan's going to tell us how.
Yeah, now as you can see, check this out. So Perella's just 2 points shy of the single-season points record. That's next on her list after already breaking the single-season goals record. And with 3 regular season games and a possible CA tournament game or 2 still possible, she has a shot at breaking the all-time career record for her. And the goals record this season as just a senior. She needs 12 points to break the points mark.
Junior. She's a junior still.
As a junior. And 14 goals to break that record. So a lot of things she's working on right now.
You do it all in the next couple of weeks. Then have a whole senior season to add to it. Pretty impressive. Hofstra, also the subject of the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Photo of the Week. See Jenna Budd celebrating one of her couple assists, even though they lost to JMU. So 2 positives from Hofstra to take away from the week, even after losing in double OT.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool picture, though. You can see the intensity in that game going to double OT. A lot of emotions in that game, and you can see it on Jenna's face right there.
A couple lead changes throughout. It's pretty close. JMU went on a run late to take the lead. Then Hofstra scored with like 15 seconds to go to tie it. And then obviously the double overtime win for JMU, who escapes. They're pretty proud of that, too.
Yeah. And so with all that said, that's all we have for CA Press Pass. And we have a jam-packed another week of CA games. A lot of the games matter. A lot of games trying to creep up on that CA standings list.
A lot of the games right here on Lac Sports Network, so make sure to tune in. Thanks, guys.
Speed. Power. This trophy is not given, it must be earned. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships. May 25th through 27th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
In the stick, boom, on the money, cradle and a pass. With the first championship.
Visit ncaa.com/lacrosse to get your tickets today.
Join us for the most rewarding lacrosse tradition, Shootout for Soldiers. Shootout for Soldiers is a 24-hour lacrosse event with a mission to use lacrosse as a platform to support American veterans and foster community engagement. Started by a group of high schoolers in Maryland in 2012, Shootout for Soldiers has raised over $3 million for our nation's heroes. A festival-like atmosphere that engages veterans, active duty, and a local community will be hosted in 12
Happy Hump Day, everybody. Welcome to Lacrosse Now. I'm Tom Esch, and that's Megan Triplett. We are 21 days, 3 weeks away from the NCAA tournament. Who's counting? The projections have begun. Well, they kind of already were going.
Yes, but now it's like, it's on.
Yeah.
It's really, really
it's on paper.
It's on paper because earlier this week, the NCAA released the first RPI rankings of the season. Well, today, U.S. Lacrosse released their first projected bracket for 2019.
And let's unveil their projected bracket, mind you. This is if the season ends today, this is what things look like according to them. The conference leaders in those different conferences getting the automatic bids. Whoever's leading right now in the Big Ten and Penn State, obviously, those kind of teams, those are the ones that are in there. And you see some of the other the other teams that are getting at-large bids as well. Teams like Ohio State and Syracuse. Virginia, who I believe is leading the ACC, so I think they would obviously get an automatic bid. Then you have Notre Dame, and Virginia doesn't get an automatic bid. They don't deserve one. I mean, they do deserve one, but the ACC doesn't get an automatic bid.
Right.
Anyway.
So here's a look at. Hey, it's confusing because it's so early into this whole process. So their last 4 in is Maryland, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Cornell. Their last 4 out: Towson, Johns Hopkins, Denver, and North Carolina. The first of those 3 ranked are in the top 20 right now. North Carolina is receiving votes. So a lot of early predictions of all this whole entire thing. I mean, looking at the bracket, I think a shocking thing to me was just that Towson was the last 4 out. I'm still considering Towson kind of a team to be on the lookout for and a team to still watch and still be in contention for the CAA. So that's a little different to me. It's really hard to wrap your brain around all this so early into the game.
Oh, it's not that early. We only got a couple weeks to go. There's only a couple games left.
I need to see conference play end. I need to see conference tournament, run out, because like that. This is always a huge discussion of last 4 in, last 4 out.
Can we pop the bracket back up again, guys? Is that possible, real quick here? Well, while they're trying to do that, I think, I agree with you. Towson over, I think, Ohio State in my mind at this point. Ohio State, Towson's played a much more difficult schedule than Ohio State, and I think they have a better win over. They have some better wins like over Loyola. So I think at this point, everyone's really high in Ohio State, and obviously they started really well. But we'll see what Ohio State has. They've got a couple of tough games at the end of the season, and another team that. There's some make or breaks here towards the end of the season. A team like Johns Hopkins has Maryland and Penn State to finish the year. For them, you go 0-2, and you might have to win your conference tournament. If you go 2-0, and they're looking really good, obviously, for 1-1 even. So there's some things, as you said, that can still come into play here, but a good idea of what some of the projections are at this point.
Yeah.
I also thought Yale could have had a little bit higher seed. They could have been a 4, maybe switched around there.
We got a lot left to go. We still have a lot left to go. Some of that could be very right, though, which could be actually absolutely crazy to me at the same time. It could all work out.
I think we all can agree Penn State right now is number 1. We'll see how the rest of the rest of the season goes. Let's get to some highlights from tonight, shall we? We had a great women's game. Princeton and Penn, top 12 battle. 12th ranked Penn hosting 10th ranked Princeton. Big game for Ivy League standings, and let's get this one started. 1-0. This was a good game too. It's 1-0 Penn, and they make it 2-0. There's Zoe Bellido shooting and scoring. A little bit later in the first half, still 2-0, but here is Kyla Sears working her way, then finding Elizabeth George, who had 6 goals. She shoots and scores 2-1 Penn. It's still a 1-goal lead. Like there in the middle, there's 2 Princeton players in there, and good thing, because Tess Dorsey off the rebound makes it 4-4. It's 6-6 later on. Penn, what a shot and score again by Bellido. 7-6, Penn takes a 1-goal lead. We go to the second half. Man up for Penn as they're down 2 as Princeton made a run. Madison Juronic to Michaela McMahon. She's left wide open. She scored there 11-10. Penn with 2 men up now with 5 minutes to go, and they come all the way back. McMahon scores. It's 11-11. But Princeton does get another goal to make it 12-11, and they have a chance to run out the clock. And Tess Dorsey says, I want to score. We got to give it a little more cushion here. She goes, everyone's like, well, we were supposed to run out the clock. She goes, hey, we got to make it the wide open net. It's a 2-goal game. Get my stick checked. She had 4 goals, 13-11. Princeton goes on to win this game tonight. George, as I mentioned, had 6 goals. Dorsey with 4. Kyla Sears, 6 points. Big performance there from Sears. On the other end, Bellido had a couple goals, and Barry finishes with 3 points for Penn. 13-11, Princeton beating the Quakers.
Let's move on to another midweek tilt on the women's side. Over in the Patriot League, 16th ranked Navy hosted American today. Let's go 3 minutes into the first half. Navy already up 2-0. Nicole Victory takes the ball back in bounds, passes to Kelly Larkin. So Navy extends that lead to make it 3-0. About 5 minutes later, Navy's already up 6-0, and they're going to keep adding on. That's Kelly Larkin, her 50th goal of the season, to make it 7-0. But hey, here, look, now they're up 8-0. Caitlin Blanche fights her way past the whole defensive line to make that diving goal. Navy extends that lead to 9-0.
Oh, boy.
Americans going to get on the board, though, in the first half. Don't count them out. Emma Vinal picks up a loose ball in front of the net, passes to Peyton Smith, so American makes it 11-1. American not done there. Casey Harkins gets the pass, who makes a quick pass to Emma Vinal, and she goes top shelf and scores. So now American cuts it to 11-2. 5 minutes to play left. Navy up 12-3. Paige Brigham goes wide, pass to Annalise Hayward. Navy is a 10-goal lead. It makes it 13-3. Second half we go. 14 seconds left. Why not? Navy up 19-10. That's Gil Eby scoring on off the free position. Navy's gonna go ahead and win this one, as you already see right there, 20-10. Let's just talk about Navy. They had a day, 20 goals in the game. O'Sullivan had 3 goals. Annalise Hayward, 2 goals, 1 assist, and Harris had 2 goals in Navy's big win over American. Alrighty, time to go clubbing. Today the teams were announced for the 2019 U.S. Lacrosse WCLA National Championships. Here's a look at the Division I field, which features 16 teams. Now, the undefeated University of Pittsburgh received the #1 seed. The Panthers are making its 13th overall and 7th straight appearance in the championship tournament. BYU received the #2 seed after winning the Rocky Mountain Women's Lacrosse League title. The Cougars finished as national runner-ups in 2018 and are making their 8th overall tournament appearance. UCLA is seeded 3rd, and San Diego State is the #4 seed. And here's a look at the other 9 through 16.
This is WCLA, by the way, guys. That should say WCLA at the top.
Yeah. So we got
This is the women's side of things.
Yes. So we got Boston College on there at number 13, Colorado, Texas, and Washington rounding out the 16 teams going on the side of the Division I.
Let's move on to Division II, shall we, in this WCLA lacrosse tournament. You see Utah at 9-2, Denver 8-3, Loyola, Air Force. These are all the club team versions of this. So Utah are in the top seed for the first time. The Aggies are 9-2 on the season, and we're champions of the RMWLL. Two-time champion University of Denver club is the #2 seed after finishing as the RMWLL's runner-up. St. Thomas, one of 2 undefeated Division II teams, received the #3 seed with defending champion Loyola University Maryland seeded 4th.
And guess what? Today it was announced that the WCLA National Championships will be played May 8th through the 11th at the Princess Anne Athletic Complex and Sportsplex in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And you can watch the tournament right here on LSN. It's going to be free, so make sure you are tuned in May for the WLCA Championships.
We got it all rolling out tonight. For some Lax Biz, today the Ivy League announced a partnership with the Premier Lacrosse League and the Women's Professional Lacrosse League to offer youth clinics in conjunction with the league's men's and women's lacrosse tournament championship games on Sunday, May 5th. 1-hour clinics be held at Columbia University featuring coaches from the PLL and the WPLL. $75 registration fee will include access to the youth clinic and admission to the championship games. Get a lot for your bang for your buck there.
You do. And you know what, Tom? Speaking of the PLL, they also had some other news coming out today. They're going to Denver, so everyone mark your calendars. It was announced on, of course, Twitter that Denver will be a stop in the tour this summer. So July 27th through the 28th, games will be played at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Probably see Trevor Baptiste.
Oh,
as
definitely
you
will
see
see Trevor Baptiste. He's kind of like the king of Denver, you know? He loves that city.
He does.
All right, still ahead on lacrosse now. We have some special guests joining the show tonight. UMass head coach Greg Canella chats with Tom about the Minutemen season so far and discusses their coming up game this weekend.
And the guests don't stop there. Coming up, James Madison goalie Molly Dougherty will talk with Megan about her successful college career and tells us what she uses as an inspiration.
But first, with the regular season winding down and conference tournaments right around the corner, we play a game of Would You Rather with some of the top teams and players in the game right now.
Speed. Power. power. This trophy is not given, it must be earned. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships. May 25th through 27th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
In the stick, boom, on the money, cradle and a pass. Win the first championship!
Visit ncaa.com/lacrosse to get your tickets today.
Welcome back. We are halfway through conference play in the CAA. Delaware sits at the top with a perfect 3-0 conference record, but UMass and Towson are just a game behind and still in the hunt with 2 games to go. Now, last week in the Minutemen bounced back from a loss to Hofstra to beat Towson 14-10, a game they dominated through the first 3 quarters, leading 12-3 heading into the 4th, only to see Towson make a run to keep it respectable. Regardless, though, UMass getting the upset win over a top 15 team. Now, this season, the Minutemen are second in the CAA in goals per game at just about 12.5. They've also taken more shots than any other CAA team, and they're also first in goals against average at 8.35. Their 34 ground balls game ranks 3rd in the league. And with more on UMass, here's Tom Eschen with their head coach, Greg Cannella.
So Coach Cannella joins us now. And Coach, I guess I'm going to ask you a little bit about last week's game, maybe in 2 parts here, because that's what the game felt like. What did you focus on more in the film session, the first 3 quarters or the 4th?
Basically, we focus on everything. But, you know, certainly you want to try to finish games out a little bit better than we did on Saturday. We've had some difficulty doing that this year. And so, again, you focus on the good, you focus on the bad, you focus on the ugly, you go through the whole gamut.
Yeah. What was the talk before the game? Because you guys came out obviously really hot, really fired up. Was there something a little bit extra, you think, behind the game that got the guys going a little bit more?
No, I mean, it's a league game, and it's Towson, who is a great program. They've been the gold standard in our conference over the last 6-7 years here. So, I don't know if there's extra motivation with our guys, but we just tried to get our guys to go out there, play with great intensity, not worry about the scoreboard, just go out and play together and play hard.
Yeah, and you guys, have had some success this year. You're 2-1 in the CAA so far with some young guys leading you, especially on the offensive end. Guys like Gabriel Prosek, a freshman, and Chris Connolly, and a sophomore. How have those young guys been able to step up in the way you've seen it?
Well, I think that our defense has played well, so it has allowed those guys, a little bit of rope. Again, we hope not to turn the ball over as much as we have, but Gabe has done a really nice job, as you mentioned. Gabe Prosek, lefty attackman, has done a good job of filling in the gap from Buddy Carr, who graduated on that left side. And Chris Connolly's kind of picked up from where he left off last year. A little bit different role for him. Chris is more of a distributor this year, handling the ball a little bit more than he did last year. Obviously, we didn't ask him of him as a freshman. But again, I think it's the critical mass on the defensive side that's allowed those guys, to be able to play relaxed and to make errors in games, but know that they're going to get the ball back.
Yeah, that was something you guys had coming back, was some of that leadership and some of that experience on the defensive side, and you've sort of seen that come to fruition. What do you think you guys have developed the most in over the course of the season? What have you gotten better at as the year's gone on?
Well, you hope that each year you get better at chemistry. Your group gets tighter, and I think the season that we've had. We started out 1-3, losing to Army, Ohio State, and Yale in 2 of those games in overtime. It's either sink or swim. So you guys they're kind of forced to, to come together, to have good conversations, to have real conversations about each other, about the team, about where we're headed. And hopefully that those games and those experiences have bonded us, our group together.
Do you think the losses, maybe, like you said, starting that way, maybe helped that more than maybe a win might have?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you have young guys on the field, you want those guys to see success so you can continue to be successful. But sometimes, you do have to trip up and kind of take a step back and get humbled and realize, hey, listen, maybe we're not working hard enough, or maybe we're not working hard enough together.
Yeah, sometimes when you win, you sort of forget about some of those other things that you won. So, one more thing. Just wanted to ask you, how would you describe the personality of this team at this point in the year? You got a couple games left in conference play, looking to make a run. What is the identity of this team?
Well, like I said, we hope that the identity is that we're a hardworking group each and every day, so we can be prepared for Saturdays at this point in the season. All these CAA games are going to be dogfights, tough games, battles. Everybody's scrapping for theirs, and you have to be ready. So hopefully, again, it's a hardworking team, a team that is intense Monday through Friday, so they can be intense on Saturday. You
mentioned the CAA play. I'm expecting you expect another tough game with Fairfield as a CAA team, a team looking for their first conference win this weekend too, right?
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Fairfield's a very good team, talented, fast team. Plenty of firepower on the offensive end. They've switched through some different defenses and some zone, man-to-man, early slide. So they've done it all there, and they're very well coached. So again, we certainly have to be ready for them.
Coach Cannella, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And you can see UMass take on Fairfield right here on Lac Sports Network this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It's free. Just head to our free app or lacsportsnetwork.com in your browser.
All right, still ahead on lacrosse now. Molly Doherty's played with Team USA a couple of times now. She's going to tell us how that experience has impacted her play this spring.
What's up, lacrosse fans? Have you heard? Lac Sports Network is now free. You can enjoy over 150 live games, including all of the MLL regular season and over 2,000 hours of original content. Check us out at lacsportsnetwork.com or download the LSN app. Available on iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Xbox. It's all free, so what are you waiting for?
I'm Tyler Pace with the Calgary Roughnecks. This is Box Lacrosse 101. Today we'll be talking about shuffle passing. As we're doing this drill, we want to make sure that our stick stays above our shoulder and we're passing, we're following through, right? We're not making any cradle motions when we catch it. We're controlling the ball before we release it, and we're not trying to race up the floor as we shuffle. It's more about control than it is about speed.
Hey guys, it's Megan with Ellison, and I have some exciting news that you are going to absolutely love. We have a new show coming out called Ellison Off Script, and it's pretty simple. We go off script, and we have the best of the best in the lax world that we talk to. First guest, Miles Jones. Second guest, Marie McCool. We go completely off script, talking about music, fashion, clothes, whatever just comes to mind. So just be on the lookout. It's coming soon.
Speed. Power. This trophy is not given, it must be earned. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships. May 25th through 27th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
In the stick, boom, on the money, cradle on the pass. Win the first championship!
Visit ncaa.com/lacrosse to get your tickets today.
Welcome back to Lacrosse Now. James Madison 4-0 in the CAA thus far, looking for their third straight CAA championship, something only Towson has done back in the early 2010s. The Dukes with a double overtime win over Hofstra on Sunday. Other than that, they've cruised for the most part in the CAA with wins over Towson, Drexel, and Delaware, and now taking on Elon this Friday night. Goalie Molly Doherty leads the CAA in goals against average and saves. Both of those stats an improvement over her last year's numbers. She's fourth in the nation in save percentage as well. Really came on late in the season last year, a big factor in the run to the national title. Her play earning her time with Team USA at the President's Cup in the spring premiere. She's now joined by Megan.
We have James Madison goalie Molly Doherty joining the show. And Molly, first of all, your season so far has been absolutely amazing. What has been your inspiration?
Honestly, just my teammates. We have a really awesome defensive unit, and knowing that we're all playing for each other, I think is really awesome. We have a really great program where we rely on each other a lot, and that really helps kind of allow us to rally behind each other when the going gets tough and bring each other up and support each other's wins when we have really great games.
When you look at your college career, step back from it all, did you ever think you didn't start until your senior year in high school? Now you've been named, Defensive Player of the Week 3 times this season. You won a national championship. Last year, you added to the Toraton watch list. This year, did you ever think this was all going to be possible just your, redshirt sophomore year?
No, I think it's kind of crazy when you think back maybe a year ago. I'm only 20 years old, and my life has changed pretty drastically athletically in the past, 6-8 months. And it's really amazing. I think it kind of just goes to show that if you really want something enough, you can put the right time and effort and work rate into something, and it really does pay off. I'm just very thankful for the opportunities I've been given along the way, and definitely staying after practice, going early to practice, just extra reps. They really add up. And I'm very grateful to my teammates and my coaching staff for having faith in me to give me those opportunities and supporting me throughout those moments.
And you talking about your coaching staff, your head coach, Shelly Clays Bockham, speaks very high praises of you, not just as an athlete, but also as a person in general. Can you just explain what she has meant to you?
I really wouldn't want to play for anyone else besides Shelly. I think she has a really amazing way about her in the way that she has her relationships with her athletes. I think everyone talks about their program being really special, but there's nothing else like JMU. And I don't really think it's just about women's lacrosse either. It's across kind of JMU sports in general. There's this uh, very, very tight knit family bond across all athletic teams that really I don't think people can really replicate anywhere else. And Shelly's very able to kind of break us down and build us back up in a way. And she's really focused on not making really great athletes, but also making really great women. So, you're not the same person when you step on campus the first time. You might have the same values, but hopefully you're kind of giving and taking from the university as well. And, she went to JMU, which is really awesome. So she gets it. She understands what it's like to play not only Division I lacrosse, but to play for James Madison University and have that pride in the purple and gold, and know that we're all kind of in it together.
And you are definitely in it together because this season you all have had a great season so far with just 3 losses on the year, and you guys had a tough non-conference schedule. What did you and your team learn about each other, especially that has helped you go into conference play?
We play a tough non-conference schedule, as our coaches say, for a really good reason. It prepares us for the postseason. And we're able to do exactly what we've done in conference play so far is come in and send a message and dominate. And we're continuing to just kind of move along that path. And knowing that we are prepared for any type of opponent because we've played, top ACC teams, we've played top Big Ten teams, we've played, Big South teams. We've kind of gotten a taste of almost every team in every conference out of conference season, so that we're ready to kind of put it all together and tie a big bow on the season when it comes to May.
When you talk about tying a big bow in the season, has it hit you yet that there's only 2 games left in the regular season?
Honestly, no. I was actually just talking about it with one of my teammates. It's kind of crazy to feel like we just started yesterday. We do all this work, it's 90% hard work, 10% game day payoff. And that's the really awesome thing about our sport is that you get to see kind of all the work that you do pay off on game day. But it is kind of insane to feel like, it was just yesterday that we're opening our game against UNC, and I think it's really nice to see kind of our path to where we are now, and those ups and downs in parts of the season, and we've been able to give and take and learn and kind of smooth some things out heading into this final weekend.
And when you guys heading into these final 2 games of the conference, what are you guys hoping to work on?
I think we're just really focused on, sharing the ball, playing together, and making sure that we're just going to have some fun this weekend. We had a really great, really tough, but really great weekend. The past 2 weekends, played some pretty physical teams in Towson, Delaware, Hofstra, and Drexel. And now we're kind of able to keep grinding it out, not stop and take a breath, but continue to kind of head down that pathway and put ourselves in a really great position for the next 2 weeks.
And for the next 2 weeks, I know it's a lot of pressure on you all, especially when you think about, the tournaments being right around the corner. How do you help your team manage those type of emotions and that pressure?
I think we just have to go back to the fact that it's something I know Shelly talks about a lot, is that it's the game of lacrosse, and that we get to wake up every morning and we get to play lacrosse. We get to have this opportunity to be a Division I athlete at JMU, and there are a lot of people who would be really happy with the opportunity that we have. So we just have to remind each other kind of why we're here, and that we're having the right mentality, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Hopefully, nerves are normal and nerves are good, but not putting so much pressure on yourself about the result and just playing the game.
Well, Mala, we've all enjoyed watching you play this year. Good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you very much. So nice talking to you.
And you can see Dr. D and the Dukes this Friday when they host the Elon Phoenix. Draw Control is scheduled for 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and it's right here on Lacrosse Sports Network. All right, still ahead, we have a huge top 5 game tonight in Division III with Salisbury taking on York. The highlights are on the way.
Double out crease is not the most offensively friendly drill, but your defenders will love it. The focus around double out crease drill is to strengthen your program's double teams. This drill works on the key components of a good double team, which are positioning, footwork, and most importantly, communication. The great thing about the double out crease is that it is effective for all skill levels. To set up double out crease, you're going to set up 3 lines behind goal on the goal line extended. As you can see, I have 2 colors out, one being a white line for the players and a red line. Okay, this black line over here is just a coach who's going to roll out a ball. The white line you're going to fill with your defenders and midfielders. The red line you'll fill with your attackers, and also midfielders can transition into here as well. To start this drill, this coach is going to roll out a ball when she blows her whistle. Okay? As soon as that whistle blows, everybody's racing to pick up this ground ball. When this attacker gets this ball, okay, these defenders are working together to close out this double team. As we said, in the purpose of this drill, you really want to make sure that your defenders are forming the shape of a V. So when their feet come together, they're almost touching and really showing that it's a V shape in order to close this attacker out. The attacker is going to work to get by them, and defenders are going to work to really close this out, cause a turnover. As soon as a turnover is made or a shot is fired, you have your next set of 3 people going out towards ball. The most important thing about creating an effective double team is that the 2 defenders should be creating the shape of a V when their feet come together. A second key component is what they should be communicating. One defender should be calling body, while the other should be calling stick. Lastly, creating good body contact will help each defender direct the opponent towards their teammate to close the double team.
Speed. Power. This trophy is not given, it must be earned. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships. May 25th through 27th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
In the stick, boom, on the money, cradle and a pass. With the first championship.
Lacrosse Now is brought to you in part by New Balance Lacrosse, built for lacrosse.
Welcome back. Let's get back to the late night lacrosse games that just wrapped up just a couple of minutes ago and get you caught up on what went down.
Yeah, let's go out to Georgetown, Maryland. Georgetown hosting the 2nd-ranked team in the nation in D.C. Ricky Freed getting the ladies going. Maryland still unbeaten, of course, so always looking for a challenge. And they had one in this game, actually. 2-0 down here early. Brindy Griffin, a little spin move off the free possession. It's 2-1 Georgetown, but Georgetown goes on a run in this first half. Emily Ellie to Liza Leota, who scores 4-1 Georgetown. Later on in the first, Maryland tried to stay in it and cut into that 4-2 lead. Look at the stick work there by Erica Evans, bringing it all the way around. Georgetown up 4-3, the second time this season that Maryland has trailed at the half. As we head to the end of the first half, it's Ellie making a beautiful play to score there. So Georgetown's up 7-4, and we go to the locker room with Maryland trailing. They only trailed against Syracuse. They came back and won that game. What did they do tonight? Well, they did the exact same thing. There's Erica Evans off the free possession. They go on a big run to start the second half, and it's tied at 8. Still tied at 8 a little bit later in the second half, about 20 minutes left. Here is Grace Griffin getting it. You see her in the middle there, finding it in front, makes someone miss, and then scores. Maryland goes up 9-8, and that run continues into the night in D.C. Here, Jen Giles passing to Evans once again. There she is in the middle, finds the bouncer and scores. Maryland goes on to win 17-8 the final. What a second half from the Terps. Pretty impressive. Giles with 7 points. Evans had 4 goals. Griffin had a hat trick. For Georgetown, I mean, they've made it interesting for a half at least. Put Maryland on their toes a little bit, but the Terps once again pulling away sort of like they did against Northwestern those final minutes their a couple games ago. So Maryland goes on to win 17-8.
Let's move on. Loyola hosted Bucknell tonight. The Greyhounds trying to keep that Patriot League record perfect. First half we go, Loyola already up 1-0. From behind the net is Livy Rosenweig, who passes to Taylor Van Thoff. So Loyola extends that lead to make it 2-0. Now they're up 4-0. It's Livy Rosenweig again, unassisted, marches right around, and she scores and lands the goal to make it 5-0. Now the score is 9-0, and Bucknell is going to get on the board. That's Audrey Walsh scoring for them to make it 9-1. 10-1 with under 8 to play. Taylor Van Hoff open net. Into the half will be 14-1, just so you know. Second half we go. Sam Fielder passes to Lee Daly from around to make it 18-1. And now Loyola's going to add another one on there. It's Sam Fielder again. And that one would do it. Put it away. Loyola wins this one 21-1. Now the high-powered Greyhounds moved to 50-0 all-time in Patriot League regular season action. Livy Rosenweig paced their attack, finishing with 9 points on 2 goals and 7 assists. She was just 1 helper shy of matching her own school record. Sam Fielder had 4 goals, while 7 of her teammates also struck multiple times. And here's a little fun fact for you. In 2019, Loyola, they've outscored its Patriot League opponents by a combined margin of 130-45. That's an average of around 12 goals.
Two of the best teams in the Division III game, York and Salisbury going at it. Number 3 against number 1. It's 2-2 here in the first. That's Thomas Pfeiffer breaking the early tie. It's 3-2 York. They're up on the number 1 team in the nation. Later on, Zach Pompea finds his way through the defense and scores. It's 3-3. This one living up to the hype. The start, at least here in the second. We go in the second. York is still up a goal, making it 4-3. Hunter Davis has a couple of goals right in a row for York. They go up 2. It's 5-3 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Later on, York's up 3, and they keep it going. It's Pfeiffer once again. 8-4. York up 8-4 at the end of the half. We go to the second half, though. Salisbury looking to come back. Down 4. Tyler Schneider finding Cross Ferreira. York is up 9-6. They're up 3. Then we go to the fourth. They're up 2 and make that 3. Hunter Davis rips one. York goes up 10-7 in the fourth. It is still 10-7. Salisbury looking to come back, but there is Cross Ferreira. What a goal there. The fake, and then he followed the dive, the fadeaway. Beautiful. York's up 2. Still up 2. Less than 8 minutes to go. Eben Ordakowski gives York the 11-8 lead, and number 1, everybody, they go down 11-9. York over the Seagulls. The Spartans get the big win. Davis had 6 points. Ordakowski had a hat trick. Pfeiffer ended up with those 2 goals you saw for Salisbury. Their first loss of the season. Melton had 4 goals. Ferrara had 2, and Pompea, he had 3 points. Wow. Upset. D3 land.
All right, so Tom, we've kind of wrapped up all the games from tonight. So let's now talk about tomorrow, because the games continue on Thursday with a big matchup in the Big Ten.
Midday battle between Michigan and Northwestern, the final conference game for both the Wolverines and the Wildcats. Interesting stuff. For 8th-ranked Michigan, best start in school history. And the Wolverines be looking for their first ever win over the Wildcats. 14-1 overall this season, 4-1 in the Big Ten. Another cool storyline is Michigan head coach Hannah Nielsen turns to some familiar territory at Northwestern, that pipeline. Nielsen, she was a 4-year starter for the Wildcats from 06 to 09, where she won 4 national championships.
Wow.
So she knows what she's doing,
She does.
especially in Evanston.
You definitely want to win against your former team, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, but it won't be easy for head coach Nielsen and for the Michigan Wolverines, because 6th-ranked Northwestern has been playing amazing. The Wildcats are 9-4 overall this season, and 3-1 in the Big Ten. And with all 4 of their losses coming against top 10 programs. Now, Northwestern leads the Big Ten in 5 categories, and they have a player named Selena Lasota. She leads not only the Big Ten and Northwestern offense, but she's also leading the Big Ten with 64 points.
Coming up, Albany has quite the hype video ahead of their matchup with Yale this Friday. We'll take a look at it.
And plus, we're going to play a game of Would You Rather with some of the big and best teams in the country and some of the best players in the country.
What's up, Lacrosse fans? Have you heard? Lax Sports Network is now free. You can enjoy over 150 live games, including all of the MLL regular season and over 2,000 hours of original content. Check us out at laxsportsnetwork.com or download the LSN app. Available on iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Xbox. It's all free, so what are you waiting for?
I'm Tyler Pace with the Calgary Roughnecks. This is Box Lacrosse 101. Today we'll be talking about shuffle passing. As we're doing this drill, we want to make sure that our stick stays above our shoulder and we're passing, we're following through, right? We're not making any cradle motions when we catch it. We're controlling the ball before we release it, and we're not trying to race up the floor as we shuffle. It's more about control than it is about speed.
Hey guys, it's Megan with Ellison, and I have some exciting news that you are going to absolutely love. We have a new show coming out called Ellison Off Script, and it's pretty simple. We go off script, and we have the best of the best in the lax world that we talk to. First guest, Miles Jones. Second guest, Marie McCool. We go completely off script, talking about music, fashion, clothes, whatever just comes to mind. So just be on the lookout. It's coming soon.
Speed. Power. This trophy is not given, it must be earned. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships. May 25th through 27th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia.
In the stick, boom, on the money, cradle and a pass. With the first championship.
Visit ncaa.com/lacrosse to get your tickets today.
Talked about earlier in the show, about 3 weeks now to the NCAA tournament. So thought we'd play a little Would You Rather with some players and teams on both the men's and women's side.
Yeah, things are heating up. So let's start with the men's side of things. Would you rather be Penn State or Yale right now at this moment?
At this moment in my life? Wow, well.
Penn State's #1 in the country right now.
Yale's the defending champs. I think I want to be Yale. And it's because they already won the title, and I feel like that might take the pressure off them. It might sound funny, but the pressure's off them a little bit because they've already won it, and no one really expects them to go back-to-back, right? And they have been a little, despite the fact that they're ranked 4th in the media poll, I feel like they've been a little under the radar, and no one's been really talking about them as much of maybe a Penn State or a Pat Spencer with Loyola. They haven't been in the headlines too often this year, and if I'm Yale, I had the best win in the country. I beat Penn State. So when it comes to tournament time, they can have the confidence to say, we can beat anybody in the nation without that they don't have the monkey on their back, and they don't really have the pressure of trying to, of trying to win it for the first time.
I'm not going to say that I don't agree with you, but I'm going to see it from just the opposite side of things. I think I'd rather be Penn State, and I know that's kind of like an oxymoron because, like you mentioned, Yale did beat Penn State, but I think the Big Ten is a tougher conference right now. I don't think it's not a knock to the Ivy League, conference, but I don't think they're as good as this year because when you look at Penn State, and I think the way they're playing, the way their offense is playing, as you see, 17 goals per game. That is that's crazy. That is ridiculous. And then of course, that Yale loss really, really hurts them. It really does. But, when you add on Cornell, Maryland, and Ohio State, Maryland was a great team in the way they're playing. And they played Yale earlier in their season. And as you mentioned, no one's really talking about Yale. I just don't think I'm not like all the way impressed with them yet. I think, even with them playing Albany this weekend, even if they win and how they win, I'm just not there. I'm not sold on them yet. And I think it's probably because of the Ivy League conference. It just hasn't put me all in on Yale, especially just to think that they might be at the end of this all. I could see Penn State at the end of it holding up a trophy.
All right, so you'd rather be Penn State?
I'd rather be Penn
Yale.
State.
Interesting.
Yes.
So we'll stay with Penn State for one of these. Okay, would you rather be Grant Ament or Pat Spencer right now? Right now, who would you be?
I mean,
it's because it's an interesting time for both of them, I feel like.
Yeah, I think this is just going to go off of a personal choice for me because off of like who I'm loving just watching play right now, it's hard to count out Pat Spencer. Like, I'd rather be him. The way he plays, it is so entertaining. We always talk about it, and I know people are sick of it, and I think people are probably just realizing that it's not out of the norm for Pat Spencer to be this good. Like, we expect him to have all these, like, highlight reels, these top plays. But the way he's doing it and, like, his career overall, just in general, it's like him putting a bow on his whole lacrosse career, and I'm loving all of it. So for me as a fan, I'd rather be Pat Spencer's. I like watching Pat Spencer. I don't want it to stop. I don't want it to end. I like the cool plays and stuff.
I sort of approached this from an injury perspective as well because we had found out Evan Washburn was on our air earlier this week saying, Pat Spencer got hurt in a scrimmage. This was from Evan. He said he got hurt in a scrimmage and didn't practice until their March game against Bucknell. So that's in the middle of March. So is Pat Spencer getting healthier, or is he still a little banged up? And the fact that he was doing all that while hurt, so that's sort of my idea. And then we know about Grant Ament in the report from Ty Zanders, and he did miss that game against Cleveland State of sort of the surgery he got. So sort of looked at it from the health perspective, and then I thought of Ament and the offense he's in and just the way Penn State's flowing. You've made the point about the Penn State offense. If I'm a lacrosse player, I want to be in that offense right now, and I want to be making things happen. And Ament at X just sort of directing traffic and living the life. And you're on the Penn State campus, the Nittany Lions and State College, and you're the talk of the town right now, which I feel like is a pretty cool feeling. And Loyola might be a little more expected. Pat Spencer had to come in and sort of duplicate what he's done for so long. And Penn State's more of the feel-good story of the year, sort of coming out of nowhere. And Ament coming off the injury, it's got to be pretty cool for them.
I mean, both of these guys are equally superheroes in their own right.
Yeah.
Like they're both dealing with things, and they're kind of both different players. So it depends on what you want on your team. It depends on who you want to play. Pat Spencer is always scoring the goals, and like what's great about Grant Ament is that he can find, if he's not scoring, he's going to get his teammates involved. We saw 60-something assists already on this season, so I can agree with that one as well. They're just both amazing. There's no wrong or right answer with that one.
All right, let's go to the final one here. We got Boston College, Maryland women.
Yes.
Boston College, Maryland women. Who would you rather be right now? I don't know.
Well, after seeing what Maryland just did tonight,
we were talking about this segment. We're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, first of all, for me to be true to myself, I can't never go against Boston College because all season long I have been on this bandwagon hype team, the Boston Big Three. They're absolutely amazing to watch. Like they're so good that you question how good they are, or are they playing, or then you start questioning their opponents. Like, are y'all good? Like Boston College is so good. I'm thinking, well, are the people that they're playing, are they even good? I'm not even sure. And then like today with Maryland, shocked me, down 4, and they just, I don't know what they said. They were like second half, like, you know what? We're done playing around now. We gave you guys a chance, and today Maryland proved a lot to me, but I would still rather be Boston.
I think they both
College.
have the explosiveness and sort of rattle off 8 goals when they get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And sort of thinking historic-wise between these two, Maryland, all those Final Fours in a row, Boston College going to 2 straight championship games. So if the feeling is the pressure might be on BC to sort of get back there and win it because if they don't win it with this group,
my heart would be broken.
I think I'd rather be. This is a tough one because Maryland has that legacy feel as well. Like, you don't want to be the class that doesn't go to the Final Four, right? Just like Boston College, this group of athletes that have done this year after year, they want to go and win the title. But I feel like just the way they played this year, I got to go with Boston College. Okay. That's who I'd rather be right now. I agree with you, just because of they're the talk of the town. You know, the lacrosse world. I mean, they could go down as one of, if not the best women's lacrosse team we've seen in a long, long time, just with the athletes they have and the first team All-Americans when it comes to top to bottom. And Maryland, they could do the same thing. They go on and win the title. But Boston College, I kind of have has that feeling this year, and should be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Hopefully they play each other at the end.
I would love that. That would be absolutely amazing. Hopefully, you know, when this all plays out, all you can do is, like, you hope that the bracket works out where we can see that. Because I would be so sad if this isn't like the semis. I'm like, no!
And because they both already have played like most of the best teams. Both teams have played some of the best teams in America already. They played Carolina and Syracuse.
We need them to play each other.
They have to play each other at the end. That's
all we need.
But someone else might come and ruin the party. So we're not counting on anybody else.
That's true.
But it should be, we'll see what happens.
I don't know if anyone's going to ruin the party. I don't know. All right, still ahead, we have one more cool thing to get you ready for another Friday night game. It's Albany and Yale, and we're going to get you hyped after the break.
Tyler Pace with the Calgary Roughnecks. This is Box Lacrosse 101. Today we'll be talking about shuffle passing. As we're doing this drill, we want to make sure that our stick stays above our shoulder and we're passing, we're following through, right? We're not making any cradle motions when we catch it. We're controlling the ball before we release it. And we're not trying to race up the floor as we shuffle. It's more about control than it is about speed.
You don't give a girl confidence. She already came with a lifetime supply. The question is, what do you do with all that confidence? Do you ignore it? Or do you give her the tools to harness it? Tools that will help her trust her instincts, make her aim true, and put her in complete command. Provide her with these things, and that confidence will grow strong enough to banish all doubt. You can't give a girl something she already has, but with a little help, you can give her the power to change everything. No stringing, no adjustments, a revolution in women's lacrosse, the Dynasty Warp Pro.
You're watching Lag Sports Network.
Hey guys, it's Megan with Ellison, and I have some exciting news that you are going to absolutely love. We have a new show coming out called Ellison Off Script, and it's pretty simple. We go off script, and we have the best of the best in the lax world that we talk to. First guest, Miles Jones. Second guest, Marie McCool. We go completely off script, talking about music, fashion, clothes, whatever just comes to mind. So just be on the lookout. It's coming soon.
Senior night here at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium. The seniors were announced before Chance Hill, Alex The Great Danes pick up their 4th win of the American East season. They'll go to 4-1.
Get excited, get ready. It is going to be Albany and Yale going down on Friday night. Did that get you hyped?
I like that. It's gonna be under the lights. It's you know, it's got that feel to it. You know, these programs obviously have that history. It's gonna be the stars will be out, as they say.
There's so much on the line with this game, especially when you look at that. You know, Yale defeated them in the Final Four, and then you had your top face-off guy decide in the offseason to go there. There's so much that's on the line, and there's so much intensity with this game, and especially for Albany, because they need this one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, of course, like, they're doing great in the American East, but they know what this could do for them, especially when it comes down to, you know, seeding and brackets. I mean, talk about the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
This one could mean a lot, and then, of course, you get it on the guy that decided to leave and walk away from
Right, you might see the potential that Albany, we thought they might be all year long. This might be the time they really bring it out as we head toward in that tournament season. So that should be a fun one.
It is going to be
We'll have
so good.
Well, some highlights, of course, right here in Lacrosse Now.
All right, so that'll do it for this edition of Lacrosse Now. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.